Good morning. Welcome to LCSL. And it is just such a pleasure to welcome all these beautiful faces that we can come together in this way. And since we can't get together in person, so it's just wonderful to have this opportunity to share and be from our own homes on this cool fall day. All right. Now we are going to open with our opening song. And our opening song is Love Can Build a Bridge by the Judds.
I'd gladly walk across the desert with no shoes upon my feet to share with you the last bite of bread I had to eat. I would swim out to save you in your sea of broken dreams. When all your hopes are sinking, let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? I would whisper love so loudly every heart could understand. But love and only love can join the tribes of man. I would give my heart's desire so that you might see. The first step is to realize that it all begins with you and me. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
As our opening prayer this morning, I want us to see how many we can connect with. We have people suffering all over the United States and all over the world, but we're going to focus on the States. On the West Coast, the fires have taken homes and businesses, and lives have been changed forever. Wildlife calls to my heart, the forest, all of that. is because of the fires, and people are suffering, and our animal kingdom is suffering. And so we hold them with love, connecting, because what we want for them is what we want for ourselves: peace, protection, safety. And then let's think about all those that have been through tornadoes or hurricanes on the coast. And there's just lots and lots of people who've been affected by the rain, the flooding, all of that, and then by tornadoes as well. And so each of them is facing their own turmoil, and we would bless them with love if we could. And so then we come to the divisions that are happening in our beautiful country. And whatever side you're on when it comes to the election, most of us have very passionate feelings. And that's fine, as long as, remember, they're just ours. They're just our passionate feelings, and they don't affect who we are, and they should not affect how you see us. And they are doing what you're doing, trying to choose correctly for our nation to continue and to grow and to prosper. And so we want to reach out to them in love. So take a few minutes and close your eyes and see your love that you have welcomed into your life, spreading to all those other lives. Be in the moment. You might choose the people that you have the most trouble with, or that you have trouble relating to, and focus your life to build the bridge. Our world is covered by webs of love. It is ours to see it and appreciate it, and it is ours to share with others. So we breathe in to the love. We breathe in to the attitudes of positive life for each person out there. Safety, prosperity, health, joy, support. And we let our love just be, flowing through us and out from us to all those that we think about. And we take a deep breath, and we know that it is not by our power that we share, but by the power of the one that lives within us, the all I am, the I, the east, the west, the north, the south, all of it that lives within us. And with that, we say, and so it is. Okay, our first reading today by our practitioner today is from Vicki. Vicki?
Thank you, Carolyn. My reading today comes from the work of Alicia Clark. And I found this by Googling building bridges in relationship. It isn't always easy to know how to build a bridge in relationships. Connected relationships require everyone involved to be equally committed with intention. Exchanging thoughts, feelings, and intimacy on a regular basis are some of the key ways that we maintain connection in relationship. There is much to keep individuals busy in our modern world, which can negatively impact our connectedness. Work, social life, self-care, family responsibilities can take their toll on our schedule, and our days seem to fly by with no room for downtime. But relationships need attention too. Thankfully, there are ways to stay connected in the first place and return connectedness and knowing how to build those bridges and maintain them along the way so that it doesn't seem like something extra we have to do. Building a bridge is easy. Think about your connection in a relationship as if there is a bridge between you and the person you're getting to know. In the beginning, it's easy because we want to be with our new friend or partner, and together we feel invincible. We have been seeing and love to continue to see how things will grow, how we learn to think with each other and feel with each other, getting to know each other along the way. We build that bridge and we stay on that bridge together easily when it's new. We actually prefer being on the bridge because we realize that we're no longer separate and alone on opposite shores. One way to maintain the bridge is to remember to get on the bridge every day. In order to feel close to someone, we need to walk on that bridge every day, in mind, heart, or soul, and possibly physically together or not. One of the keys in maintaining that is communication skills. It might seem that when we start communicating, it's going to be easy to keep that communication feeling just the same. But over time, it changes and it takes maintenance as well. And as we have that dedication to keeping communication and connection, we build empathy for each other. Empathy in having the ability to understand when things start to feel differently, that it doesn't have to change the depth of our friendship or communion in love. Empathy occurs when you allow yourself to appreciate what your partner feels or your friend and why they feel that way, to the point where you get them. You actually understand with an understanding heart, even if you might not understand in detail. Expressing this understanding allows everyone to feel that mutual understanding that builds a sense of connection. Empathy takes time to master, but with practice, it can easily become a habit. Staying on the same connectedness bridge, practicing empathy and choosing to give to our relationships rather than just taking, is how to build bridges that will last and carve the way for long-lasting connection. And so it is.
Thank you, Vicki. Thank you. Vernon, you want to pop up the other screen? We're talking about bridges this morning, and we're talking about what makes them last so long. This is one of the New England bridges, and it's been there for a very, very long time, and it still is standing strong. So what did they do to build a bridge that would last this long, that would be sure to still be standing all these many years later? They built a foundation. That foundation is something that everything sits on. And so we get to look at the foundation of that bridge. We also get to look at our foundations. What is our foundation? What is our basic belief? What is how we act and how we react, and all those things that make us who we are and make us the people that from that point move out. So then they've got a good foundation, solid, going to stay a long time. Then they built it out of materials where the nails and the wood fit together so that they don't pop out. The nails didn't rust out. They didn't pop out because the wood changed, and they're still there. And the wood is still strong and still connected. And then they put a good roof over the top to protect all of it. Now, we're talking this morning about our connections and not just as one-to-one. Those are very important. As we practice those and get better at those, then we will get better at looking at the whole. So when we think about building bridges, and we think about bridges that last, we want to know what our foundation is. We want to know what materials we're using, and we want to know how we have created a protection for ourselves and for others. So the words today are a lot of them are shared by Reverend Viyun in California, and he just has a beautiful way to share. But the thing that he shared that really got me was the quote by Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes wrote a whole lot of books, and you may never have heard of The Home Reader by Ernest Holmes, but he has a home reader on change and health and several other things. And so it's a smaller book, and the one that he's quoting from is the home reader on change. So think of the oldest bridges, and we have thought about that and what makes them last. What makes our relationships with others, individual and group, last? No greater good can come to you that the power already within you is the power to live, the power to create, not only to create for yourself, but for others, the power to do good, the power to heal, the power to prosper. You are to realize that the power within you is a divine authority. It is a dispenser of divine gifts. It is a giver of life, of joy. It proclaims the kingdom of heaven, the harmony of the soul, and the unity of all beings. We're going to go through this sort of line by line, but the one thing that we want to start with is the unity. We are all united, whether we agree with each other or not, whether we look the same or not. We are all expressions of spirit, and we can connect with everyone if we choose to do so. If we remember that what we choose for ourselves, we are choosing for others. So as we pray for peace and inspired peace in our lives, and it grows and grows, we are doing that for others as well. In some of our early classes, we talk about you're not taking the class just for you. You're taking the class for the consciousness of the world, for everyone here. And we want to raise the consciousness so that they understand what it is that they are and what it is that they can do and how they are blessed. And so when you're saying your prayers, you may be talking about something specific in your life, but you may also be just talking about healing in general, our love, our peace, our prosperity, our wisdom, all of those things and so many more. When you pray for them, for yourself, you're also praying for them for everyone else. You're not in this alone. And when you're growing, it's not a selfish thing. It's a thing that you're sharing what you're growing, how you're growing, what you're learning with others. So, no greater good can come to you than to know that the power already within you is the power to live, the power to create, not only to create for yourself, but for others. The first thing is to know the power that is life, that lives within you, that is you, actually. And so the life, the ability to live, the power to create, wow, that power to create what we have in our own lives and to create a place for other people to have similar things in their lives. And not only to create for yourself, but for others. The power to do good, the power to heal, the power to prosper. When you are praying for prosperity, do you often think, and I want this for everyone else, it's not just for me. I want all my friends and I want everybody I don't know that, is out there and needing prosperity. I want them to have prosperity too. And so I work on my belief and my growth so that I can enjoy the prosperity. And then I know that it is also blessing other people. And so it makes it important, the prayers that you say and the attitudes that you keep, because it's not just you, it's you and everyone else. And you can either encourage everyone or you can discourage them. You can add to the peace of the world, the love of the world, or you can add to the divisions in the world. The first thing of that is to know that it is possible to heal all the divisions. We don't see it sometimes, but it is possible for us to heal the division, the anger, the hatred that is floating around our atmosphere right now. And it starts with each of us to do that, to bless those that we don't agree with, and to understand that they are doing what they need to do, what is right for them. And that goes with both sides. I mean, there's so much division going on. It's like living in an atmosphere of, well, hatred, them and us, and all the other things that go along with that. And so we want to not judge people for what they believe or to judge them for what they're going through. You hear somebody says, there's a fire in California and in other states out west, and it's our fault, that we have this fire and it's out of control and it's killing people and taking their homes and their businesses and all. But it is not independent of what we believe too. And what we are called to believe, I believe, is that the rains will come and the fires will go out. And we will learn from this how to prevent them in the future. I never even thought about it, but the underbrush that we allow to stay in our forest is kindling to the fires. So how do we begin to move that out so that we don't have such a fire keg out there? And the people themselves, how do we help them, bless them to know that this too will pass and they will be okay and that they are loved? So realizing, you are to realize that the power within you is a divine authority. It is a dispenser of the divine gifts. It is a giver of life, of joy. It proclaims the kingdom of heaven, the harmony of the soul, and the unity of all beings. You are to realize that the power within you is a divine authority. Your words are taken and replied to and expressed and used to bless this world or not to bless this world. And so as we realize that we are in ourselves an authority, then we take our words more carefully and more seriously. Doesn't change how we feel sometimes. But if we know that other people are just feeling the same things that we are, but just from a different point of view, then we can love them just as they are. And that's the whole idea of this quote that I just love. You have the power within you to dispense life and joy and prosperity and harmony and unity of all beings within yourself right now. And it is a divine authority that you have. So it cannot be taken away. It cannot be diminished. It cannot be iffy. It is the power within you. And you just learn to to accept it and live through it and from it. And that gives you the opportunity to be a blessing to all. So as you think about how to do that, what are you thinking? Are you thinking, that maybe the people that live on the coast shouldn't live on the coast because they know that the hurricanes are coming, and so they chose to live that close to the coast, and that's kind of their fault. Well, no, they chose to live life in a place where they wanted to be, and they thought they would be protected. They expected to be able to prosper, and so we want to support that knowing of heaven, knowing of we are protected individually and as a whole, protected from ourselves and from others. So now it's very important that we understand that we're creating good to reveal wholeness in everyone, and that this belief connects the me and you. This is what the love is, and this is what the connections are, is to know that we have the power and the authority to bless all people and to do so with joy and life in heaven. And so to know this, then we use that power to bless others, to bridge between us the different people out there, to build that long-lasting bridge. In Vicky's reading, she talked about individual relationships, like man and wife or sisters or friends or whatever. And there is that thing about you have to be able to listen. You have to be able to speak your authority, your truth. You have to connect. It's not good enough to connect once every 5 years. You need to connect, and you need to connect often, because that's what builds a true relationship. So knowing this, to actually reach out and understand that as you do so, you are received. And whatever you're putting out there is being multiplied. So you put out love, and love is multiplied. You put out anger, anger is multiplied. And so we get to choose what it is that we want to share with the rest of the world. We have an affirmation, and I am an important part of the whole in a world that works for everyone. Who I am makes a difference. We don't help anyone when we put ourselves down. We don't help anyone when we criticize ourselves. When we think of ourselves as not important, as not having anything to share, we have not done anybody any favors, ourselves or anyone else, because that's the energy we put out. So we need to understand that, yes, we are the whole, all of it. We have the power within to create, the power within to bless, the power within to heal and to prosper all the world around us, and even reaching around the world. And so when we understand that we are an important part to the whole of the world, we are creating a world that works for everyone. Who I am makes a difference. And so I move into a meditation where we're going to think about who we are. Given all of this and knowing all of this and knowing our power and knowing what we can do to bless or not bless, let's just take a breath. Ask ourselves, who are we? What is the first emotion that we express when something happens? How do we feel about people who don't agree with us? how much is our response to the world come from fear? And your potential. Think of your potential, the power within you, and your ability to change the world and those around you. And breathe. In this moment, we feel our very beings with the feel of love. We are just one ball of love. We can feel it and we express it. It goes out into the world, and we see how it builds connections with people next door, with people on the West Coast, on the East Coast, and everywhere in between. We love and we bless. And we breathe into that love, knowing that it is the real thing, the real calling that we have. And so it is.
So now we're shifting, and we take that pausing breath to shift from where we have been to where we are now, which is giving time. And I have our prosperity affirmation, which I'm going to invite you to say with me in just a moment. But first, we just want to thank you for your donations, whether you mail them in or whether you do them on Givelify or perhaps on the website. They're so much appreciated. And if anyone has any questions, or if you've had any trouble with donations, also at the bottom of your screen where your toolbar is, if you've never been on the chat before, you just click the little chat bubble, and then you can see in the sidebar that will come up, we have our affirmation there that you can use for yourself as well. And so our prosperity affirmation for this week is, my positive thoughts bring abundance to all areas of my life. And let's try that one more time together. My positive thoughts bring abundance to all areas of my life. Invite us to take a breath once again, and I will offer us our closing treatment before closing song. It is such a pleasure and a privilege to have this experience, to feel the energy that moves through this community, to have the confirmation and affirmation that we are one, no matter what the appearances, whether we appear to each other in physically the same space or whether we appear to each other virtually. The truth is that Louisville Center for Spiritual Living as a community is an expression of oneness in form. And when we have these opportunities, individually or in communion, we are maintaining those connections among us. And as all of the things have been shared, all of the wisdom from Rev Carolyn and the reading that I found and the reflections that individuals have about it, so many different things move through my awareness about how we see the bridges everywhere. Life shows us how this works everywhere. If you think about even within brain structure, you know, how our thoughts weave together, the networks, all of those networks, those are all bridges that happen. And as we learn and grow, as we act on Pat's wisdom and remember about the foundation and how it starts with each one of us and then blossoms out to the togetherness. That's represented in so many ways. And then I also thought too about that faith that it takes. I'm not remembering the movie now, but there's a wonderful scene where a man has to trust. He's standing on one side of a chasm and he can't see the bridge that's going to be in front of him. But a wise person, a wise guide says, step and trust. And he takes that breath and he sticks his foot out there. And sure enough, as his foot falls, the bridge emerges beneath him. And that is so much our dance with the mystery, that we take our expanding consciousness and we trust that law, and we know that the light shines as our feet fall, and that we do it together. And so for this time, for this knowing, for this realization, and for realizing that we have only just begun, taking this learning that everything that we're going through now is offering us, and realizing we can keep this maintenance moving forward. And what a blessing the world over it is to be manifest. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. I just release it and I let it be. And so it is.
Hold your hands up. Wiggle those fingers around and see sparks coming out of your fingers. And know that those sparks are love, connection, joy in the life of all. All right, so now you've been blessing yourself with the sparks. Now turn your hands out and bless others. And you pick out one person or pick out someone across the world, but bless them with the sparks of love that emanate from you.